Hello and welcome to News Central Television. The top stories at this hour. Nigeria service chiefs, security heads appear before Senate over insecurity. Niger Republic shuts airspace against Nigeria-bound flights. Viral conjunctivitis breaks out in northern Malawi. Details to come your way shortly. For our viewers across Africa and the rest of the world, this is NC Continental Prime. I am Lekan Onabanjo. We begin in West Africa, where Nigeria's service chiefs and security heads on Tuesday appeared at the Senate to discuss the state of the country's security. The meeting was billed for last week but was rescheduled to this week because of the absence of some security heads. The security chiefs present were Christopher Musa, Chief of Defense Staff, Taurid Ladbaja, Chief of Army Staff, Emmanuel Ogala, Chief of Naval Staff, and Hassan Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. Nuhu Ribadu, National Security Advisor, Kayode Betokun, Inspector General of Police, and Yusuf Bichi, Director General of the Department of State Services, were also present. Also present were the Ministers of Finance, Interior, and Defense. Over the past few weeks, there have been an uptick in killings and abductions for ransom in many parts of the country, including the Federal Capital Territory. To further discuss this, I am joined by security expert Nkotaria Ipalibo. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Hello, Nkotaria, can you hear me? Nkotaria, can you hear me? Please say something. Okay, I think while we try to sort out the audio issues there, we'll move on to other stories and see how we can bring him back to discuss about the security situation in Nigeria. In the meantime, Nigeria's economic growth has worsened in the past few years, leaving many Nigerians worried as they cope with the challenging times. Civil society organizations in Nigeria, at a press conference in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, said the severe economic challenges have called for concerted efforts to fathom what needs to be done to mitigate the challenging times. News Central's Omolola Ololade has more.
Stalled per capita growth, poverty and high food insecurity have exacerbated the ongoing cost of living crisis in Nigeria, according to the International Monetary Fund. The present economic difficulties is becoming increasingly worrisome for many Nigerians as they struggle with its challenges. It is on this premise that civil society organizations such as the Youth Bureau, Coalition of Civil Society and Socio-Economic Stakeholders created an opportunity for government and the people to dialogue in order to help mitigate the effect of the present socio-economic realities of the people.
A lot of data were collected here today to further what they have been doing in terms of civic engagement and educating the people. That's a good one. And that is the focus of this exercise.
It is undoubtedly known that the state plays a vital role in the economic emancipation of the country. Hence, the decision by the Lagos state government to help ease some of these economic difficulties faced by the people.
We are aware that everywhere there is hunger, everywhere there is need to take care of Lagosians.
We are going to use civil society organizations, we are going to use community development associations, religious organizations, ethnic group associations, people living with a disability. We are going to use all of them so that we know that they are the people who know the ones who cannot feed themselves among them.
Present at the dialogue meeting were stakeholders from different strata of the economy who narrated their ordeal during this hard time as they call on the government to help provide solutions to their yearnings.
You know, when you look at everything that is happening in the country, the physically challenged, are the casualty of it. What do I mean? When you talk about feeding, when you talk about housing, employment, all sorts.
And even those that are having access to their direct customers, you find that before they get to their various places, taxes, tolls, and all of it, I mean, not even tolls, people, illegal collections from people that say they are disguising, they are working for government, they are there exploiting them.
At the heart of this conversation is a call on the government at all levels to intervene in the immediate yearnings of the people, especially in the area of food supply and transportation. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
And as part of efforts to strengthen the economic sector, Borno State government, Nigeria's northeast, has set priorities and highlighted its commitments to completing the resettlement of displaced persons. This was during a press briefing held at the International Conference Hall, Musa Usman Secretariat in Maiduguri. News Central Sumaru Kirawa completes the report.
A comprehensive outline of the Borno State government budget for 2024 being presented at the Musa Usman Secretariat, Maiduguri, in the presence of stakeholders. Emphasis was made on the economic sector as 46% of constituent of the fiscal provisions. The government aims to complete the resettlement of displaced persons while simultaneously investing in irrigation projects to ensure agricultural sustainability.
The 2024 approved budget, as I mentioned earlier, tagged budget of consolidation and progress, is 358 billion 732 million 146,000 naira. It's made up of current expenditure of 150 billion 360 886,000 and capital expenditure of 208 billion 371 million 260,000.
The completion of resettlement project is a critical step towards providing a safe and secure environment for those affected by the conflict in the state. However, the question now is how could the government repatriate refugees in Niger with the face-off between the country and ECOWAS?
We have now developed another authorization form that we would like to request you also to quote the State Development Plan quote to link it to the purpose to the 10-year strategic transformation initiative.
The government has stressed that all expenses, including projects and programs, must be strictly aligned with the 2024 approved budget. Any deviations from the budget allocations will not be tolerated and could result in severe consequences for those responsible.
The success or otherwise of this policy will largely depend on each and every one of us. I therefore crave your indulgence to operate strictly within the bounds of the budget.
The hope of the people is how those pronouncements will translate into a more peaceful environment where food is in abundance for all. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umoru Kirawa.
In a related development, the organized private sector, Ekiti, Sokoto, and other states have faltered the demand by the Nigeria Labour Congress for 1 million naira minimum wage, stating that it is not realistic. The NLC president, Joe Ijaiye, on Monday said the organized labor might ask for 1 million naira during the minimum wage negotiations with the federal government if the value of the naira continued to plummet. Reacting to the proposal, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed, said the federal government would make a reasonable decision in line with national interest and after due consideration of available resources and other factors. In the past months, the costs of goods and services had skyrocketed following the removal of the fuel subsidy. Earlier, human rights lawyer Ekene Henry shared his thoughts on this.
We know generally that in labor relations, it is the right of workers to earn reasonable wage stays. And beyond that, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 has the economic objective in our Constitution under Section 16 and particularly subsection 2, paragraph D, to the effects that there shall be a reasonable national minimum living wage. So it's a response to the realities that citizens and workers are confronted with in an economy, in a society, as Nigeria is at the moment. So it's reasonable to make that kind of projection and demand. And whether it is realizable, yes, it is. I think there have been reports and deliberations in this country with respect to how to economically and effectively manage our resources to be able to enhance and improve the welfare of citizens.
And earlier on the news, we told you that due to the deplorable state of insecurity in Nigeria, service chiefs held a closed-door session with the Nigerian senators at the chamber during plenary today to discuss how to get out of that security mess. And so right now, security expert in Kotaria, Ipalibo, joins me to further discuss this. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Nigeria's military chiefs have had meetings virtually with all the top echelons of Nigerian government in recent years, but that has not resulted in decimating criminal elements in the country, and the issue of insecurity has increased unabated. Now, in our previous meeting, our guest said that it goes beyond funding and it goes beyond deliberation. What is it that the Nigerian government and its security chiefs have not yet done to curb insecurity in the country?
Well, what they've not done is effective implementation of the workable strategies that they've been discussing. So they've been having a series of meetings, and there's no problem with that. But beyond the meetings, there should be immediate and prompt implementation.
All right. Now, when you look at the attacks by these criminal elements, whether bandits or kidnappers, we discover that mostly they operate in villages and in towns that are vulnerable to attacks. And the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, today called for state police. And Southwest governors have also voiced their concerns and said it is time to institute state police across the 36 states of the Federation. But then there are questions or bickerings as to the possibility of impunity on the part of the would-be handlers, and that is the state governments. Now, would that be a problem? Would there be a clash or a conflict of interest, or probably chaos brewing up if we decide to go by the way of establishing state police in the country?
Well, we have always advocated for state policing, and that's because the reasons are obvious. When the state governors are in charge of the security architecture in their various states, they would be in full control, and they are going to work with policemen or security personnel that are recruited from the local communities who are aware of the terrain, the personnel are people who will be conversant with the various terrains where they are. So it will be easy to coordinate security operations, and it will be easy to prevent attacks from the bandits and whoever is perpetrating crime. So basically, state policing is the way forward. If the governors will become too powerful, that is another kettle of fish. But for now, we have insecurity as a menace to our society, and we need to solve that before we consider how powerful or how the governors will become too difficult to control.
All right, let me quickly take you back to 2021. The United Arab Emirates and the U.S. named 6 Nigerians and about 47 others as sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. Now, some are allegedly said to currently be working in government, while some are working covertly. Even Nigeria is on the Financial Action Task Force grey list for terrorism financing. Now, is it that the Nigerian government and the security chiefs do not know these people that are sponsoring terrorism in the country, or is it that they just don't have the will to go after them, to apprehend them, and to punish them?
The Nigerian government and the security agencies are aware of the sponsors beyond what has been said. There are so many names that have been penciled down, they've been investigated, and they've been linked to terrorism. But for some reasons, there is no political will to prosecute. And so that in itself is giving the crime a robust backing to thrive in Nigeria.
So how then do we tackle the issue of insecurity in the country?
Take it headlong. The president should come up with in fact, for me, the president or the presidency should move swiftly into action. Any person that has been linked to terrorism or criminality in any form should be prosecuted until we take decisive action against the sponsors and the perpetrators. This problem will persist. So the president should muzzle up the political will to do the needful, and the time is now.
Okay, Inko Taria and Palibo, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's move on now. On Tuesday, several top figures from Nigerian business visited the family home of the late Herbert Wigwe, that is the former Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, to condole with the family. News Central's Neo Money was there and filed in this report. We apologize for that poor audio quality. We now go on a short break. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. Earlier on, we told you that on Tuesday, several top figures from Nigerian business visited the family home of the late Herbert Wigwe, former Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, to condole with the family. Here's the report.
Several top figures from Nigeria business space, family, relatives, friends have continued to troop into the family house of late Herbert Wigwe. And here is where his father resided, which is Pastor Shingo Wigwe. It's been a sad experience and sad ambience here. Recently, we saw the children being moved away from here where their grandparents reside to an unknown location. We spoke with some top figures and they had this to say.
I was in continuous touch with him and he did a lot of financing for my group. We worked very, very closely together. So it's a great loss. He was very supportive to a lot of charitable causes, you know, helping people with their school fees, their education, their welfare, and he really looked forward to being able to actualize his dream of building the Wigwe University, which has started and which, by the grace of God, inshallah, we will see to its conclusion.
We are feeling sad. We are not happy about what has happened, but we have to submit to the will of the Almighty Lord at times like this. We just pray that the good Lord will grant Herbert, the wife, the son, and my brother Bimbo Onabanjo, all of them in the ill-fated helicopter crash, that the Almighty Lord will grant them eternal rest.
In the Highbrow estate where the family house is located, not many are available for you to speak with. The cars you see here are cars of dignitaries or visiting people who came to pay their tribute to the late family. And of course, we heard that privately the governor of Lagos State also visited. And before now, we've had the current governor of Ogun State, Dr. Agbado Road, who is a chieftain in the Labour Party. And we've had other dignitaries also visit. Now, all these to pay condolence visits to a man who has regenerated and, of course, made great impact in the financial sector. According to what we heard, he acquired Access Bank at a very tender age of 36, where even the CBN thought he was too young.
I think Nigeria has lost a key icon, The financial services industry has lost a solid pillar. And for those of us that he left behind, I would say, may the Lord comfort all of us. May the Lord comfort his parents, his children, his business associates, and everyone that knew him.
If Nigeria were a school, then it has lost one of its greatest teachers. While funeral arrangements are underway, it is believed from the financial sector, friends, families, and relatives that late Herbert Wigwe will be missed. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omani.
Still in West Africa, the government of the Niger Republic has placed a ban on all flights coming from or going into neighboring Nigeria. Also, the Republic of Niger announced the opening of its airspace to all national and international commercial flights effective immediately. The new directive specified that commercial flights passing over Nigerian airspace without landing will not be affected by the restrictions. Nevertheless, it is mandatory for all flights operating within Niger's airspace to have their ADS-B and/or radar transponders operational throughout the duration of the flight. In the press statement shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, the government of Niger said that the airspace of the Republic is open to all national and international commercial flights from ground to unlimited, except for Nigerian flights to or from Nigeria. To discuss this, I am joined by public affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
My pleasure. Good evening.
So, talking about the ban by Niger on all flights coming from and or going into neighboring Nigeria and the plans to instead open its airspace to all national and international commercial flights, what statement is Niger trying to communicate to the West African giants?
That they care less about the sanctions that Nigeria has imposed on the country. Don't forget, Nigeria was the one that started the rough fight by first imposing sanction flight embargo on Niger. And not only that, we also shut down our borders since about July 2023. We've also cut electricity supply to Niger and imposed several other sanctions. So Nigerians hunters are just responding in kind that if you tackle me, I will tackle you. If you decide to sanction us, we are also going to sanction you. We will not allow any flight from your country. But it's actually an issue that was initiated by Nigerians. And I just feel that this is not in the best interest of the nationals of the two countries, because where two elephants fight, it's also the grass. I mean, as the popular saying goes, it's the grass that suffers.
Now, the ban will lead to longer hours of flight for passengers to their various destinations and would increase airfares across alternative routes. So does this mean that Niger is systematically trying to totally cut ties with West Africa or maybe Nigeria?
I think this is clear. We are the one that first cut ties. I've explained to you. We cut electricity. We shut our borders against them since July last year. We've also banned any trade relations with them. So we know that Niger is landlocked, just like Burkina Faso and Mali. And we have made things very difficult for them, given the ECOWAS sanction against them. And don't forget, my brother, that the ECOWAS had put this suspension, this economic sanction in place, and they have also responded by saying, we are no longer members of the ECOWAS. We have pulled out of ECOWAS and we remain out of ECOWAS. So they are just the three countries, but Somalia and Niger, are responding in kind to the ECOWAS sanctions. And when you look at the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Niger Republic, even though Nigeria has a lot of filial relationship with Nigerians. At least it is said that 1 out of every 5 persons you see in Sokoto State is from Niger Republic. That is how close we are. There are those who live in Nigeria and work in Niger and vice versa. I mean, people walk across borders between Nigeria and Niger Republic. If you go to places like, after Daura and Ilela border and all of that. So it's just a walkable distance between Nigeria and Niger. And since Nigeria joined ECOWAS to impose sanctions on Niger, they have also responded in kind. And you have let us into the highlight of the implication of this flight ban. That it means that travelers will have to pay more, and it also will lead to longer hours of flying. Even though from the notam that was issued by the Nigerian government, they said if you are flying without landing, their airspace is still safe, just that you put on your transponders. But if you are going to stop over, that's what is not tolerated between Nigeria and Niger. So the whole essence of all of this is that it's tit for tat, as we say in English language, and is best resolved through diplomatic means.
So talking about diplomatic means, we know that the regional bloc has been making efforts to have a dialogue with Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali over the military coup that has happened, the sanctions that have gone down, and every other thing. But then won't this move jeopardize whatever diplomatic efforts that, of course, ECOWAS, the African Union, and even international partners, the US and Europe, have called for?
You know, there is a saying that delay is dangerous. The sanctions that was imposed on these 3 countries, particularly Niger Republic, have lasted for more than 6 months. People are dying. They are dying of hunger, of starvation. People are not having access to electricity. People have lost billions of dollars in trade losses. You know, many of the grains and animals that are traded across the 2 countries, they could no longer do. In fact, I will tell you for free that part of rising cost of foodstuff in Nigeria is traceable to this ban, to this border closure between Nigeria and Niger Republic. But what is needed at this point is just for common sense to prevail. You do not blame the victim. In this instance, Niger Republic has been victimized. It's been under sanction, and they just have to call the bluff of the big brother Nigeria that without you, we can also exist, however difficult it may be. So I think it's a thing of national pride for Niger Republic to come up. And don't forget, if Niger Republic could call the bluff of France, which is their former colonial master, and even asking their child affair to leave within a specified time frame, they cut off the lights in the embassy of France in Niger. They also asked the forces, the French force, French troops that are based in Niger to also leave. If they could do that to their former colonial master, it should not come as a surprise that they are also giving this flight, responding in kind to this flight ban from Nigeria. So the diplomacy, there must be no outline position. If Nigeria wants diplomacy, it also needs to initiate that. And I think at this point we should even see the possibility of having African Union coming in to mediate in this whole crisis, because with these 3 countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic, pulling out of ECOWAS, and with this flight ban between Nigeria and Niger Republic, it is ominous, and this should not be allowed to linger for long.
Okay, and the question will always be if they will be able to survive isolatedly with these new moves that they're making. But Gideojo, thank you so much
They're already
for...
turning to Russia. Don't forget, they're
Well,
already turning to Russia for support. So they will find their way. Water will always find its way.
hopefully. Gideojo, thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure. Stay safe and stay blessed.
And you too. Coming up on the news. 1,300 migrants dead or missing off Tunisia in 2023. These and other stories will come your way in a bit. The news continues in North Africa, where a Tunisian rights group, Tunisian Forum for Social and Economic Rights, said more than 1,300 irregular migrants died at sea or went missing trying to reach Europe from Tunisia last year. Islam Garbi, a migration expert at the Tunisian Forum for Social and Economic Rights, told a press conference that 1,313 people died or disappeared off the Tunisian coast, a figure never reached in Tunisia. Garbi said at least two-thirds came from sub-Saharan Africa, adding that the toll was equivalent to approximately half of the deaths and missing in the Mediterranean in 2023. The UN's International Organization for Migration said 2,498 people died or went missing while trying to cross the central Mediterranean last year, a 75% increase in 2022. And now in southern Africa, Malawi has confirmed an outbreak of viral conjunctivitis, a pink eye, in the Karonga district, with 109 cases reported since February 1. Karonga's Director of Health Services, David Sabale, said the disease was first identified among long-distance travelers from neighboring Tanzania, officials at the Songwe border post, and later within the community. An outbreak of viral conjunctivitis was reported in Tanzania in mid-January. By the end of the month, it had spread to 17 regions in both the mainland and the islands of Zanzibar, with more than 5,000 cases recorded. Kenya, Comoros, Madagascar, and Mayotte have also recorded cases. For business stories, let's now join Perpetua Fasami Peter.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business, UK Minister for Business and Trade, Kemi Badenoch, along with the Prime Minister's trade envoy to Nigeria, Helen Grant, will be engaging with British and Nigerian business leaders and investors to explore potential investment opportunities in Nigeria. The visit will also involve meetings with the federal government and state governors to discuss ongoing trade activities, including education, infrastructure, and energy projects that have the potential to generate numerous job opportunities. As in Nigeria, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria and the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies Maritime Branch have issued a warning that they will close down the country's seaports if the Nigerian federal government proceeds with its plan to cut internally generated revenues from federal government-owned enterprises, particularly the Nigerian Ports Authority, by 50%. The unions condemned the directive issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance on December 28, 2023, which called for the automatic deduction of 50% from the internally generated revenue of federal ministries, departments, agencies, and parastatals. The unions have already written to President Bola Tinubu to express their discontent with the presidential directive. And in East Africa, the Central Bank of Kenya has projected that the economy will receive foreign inflows totaling 733.9 billion shillings or $4.6 billion this year, marking a rebound from a two-year slump caused by foreign investor flight. This projected figure would be the highest since 2021. For 2023, the CBK estimates that the financial accounts closed at 558.4 billion shillings or $3.5 billion. Which included 72.9 billion shillings, about $457 million in foreign direct investments. The increase in financial inflows is attributed to the return of foreign investor flows, as well as increased disbursements from multilateral lenders and development partners. Kenya has already received significant external borrowing since the year began, including 109.6 billion shillings or $684.7 million from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and a loan of 61.6 billion shillings, which of course is equal to $385 million from the Trade and Development Bank. And still in Kenya, the price of cooking gas in Kenya has risen by 1.7% compared to last year, driven by a rally in global prices and a weak Kenyan shilling, which has offset the tax cut on the product. According to data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, a 13-kilogram filled cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, was refilling at an average of 3,032 shillings in December 2023, a marginal increase from 2,980 shillings in December 2022. This means that cooking gas prices have returned to the levels before the government removed taxes on the product. The removal of the 16% value-added tax on LPG had initially led to a reduction in prices. However, the rally in global prices and the weakening shilling reversed those gains. And that's a package on business news at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetual Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Now let's join our sports desk for the latest in the world of sports.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
In sports, Zambian forward Rachel Kundananji was acquired by National Women's Soccer League newcomers Bay Football Club from Madrid CFF for a reported world record sum. The original outlay for the 23-year-old is said to have been €735,000. Kundananji, who led Madrid to 33 goals in 43 Liga F matches, has agreed to a 4-year contract with a 1-year option. Bay Football Club are set to make their debut in the inaugural NWSL season as a new franchise. Kundananji will be the first player from Africa to play for the club. Following his cancer diagnosis, 75-year-old Sven-Göran Eriksson disclosed in January that he has best case a year to live. The Swede added that he always wished to be the manager of Liverpool and that he was a fan of the Reds. After making his health declaration, Liverpool fans urged the club to let Eriksson coach a Liverpool Legends team. Eriksson, a Swedish coach, became the first foreign manager to coach England, and he took the team to the Euro 2004 quarterfinals and the 2002 and 2006 World Cup semifinals. During a lengthy and fruitful managerial career that includes stints at Manchester City and Leicester City, he won the UEFA Cup with Gothenburg and the Cup Winners' Cup with Lazio, whom he also guided to the Serie A Championship. In preparation for the 2024 Formula One season, which will be the final one for Ferrari, before Lewis Hamilton joins the Italian team from rivals Mercedes, Ferrari presented their new SF24 car on Tuesday. The 7-time Formula One champion, Hamilton's decision to join next year has overshadowed the team's 2024 campaign as they attempt to close the gap on the all-conquering Red Bull. Ferrari unveiled the SF24 in their legion of fans with a short and low-key video adding a statement that a small audience of guests were given a live viewing of the new car. Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur was in attendance, as were drivers Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, who will compete together for the final time this year. And that's a wrap on Sport Updates. I am Udoka Njoko.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Welcome to Entertainment on NC Continental Prime. It's disheartening to see cyberbullying directed towards Nigerian footballer Alex Iwobi following the Super Eagles' defeat in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations final. The Fulham star eventually deleted all the pictures he put up on his official Instagram page after the AFCON final. Comedian Ayo Mekun, known as AY, took to Instagram to appeal for an end to the negative treatment towards Iwobi. He reminded fans that Iwobi's sole intention was to represent his country and urged them to consider the harmful effects of their actions. AY emphasized the seriousness of cyberbullying, highlighting how quickly malicious information can spread online and the difficulty in completely erasing it. He lamented the disregard for the harm caused by cyberbullying and called for a culture of care and respect on the internet. Folarin Falana, popularly known as Fowls the Bad Guy, also joined the conversation defending Iwobi on social media. He expressed solidarity with the player, emphasizing that every member of the team makes sacrifices to represent Nigeria. Fowles condemned cyberbullying and showed his support for Iwobi, reminding everyone that unity should prevail, whether in victory or defeat. That at least 3 to 4 people per household watched the performance.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's all at this hour. But before we go, we take a look at some of our top stories. Nigeria service chiefs, security heads have appeared before Senate over insecurity. Niger Republic has shut airspace against Nigeria-bound flights. We also told you that viral conjunctivitis has broken out in northern Malawi. Don't forget to send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. And you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekan Onabanjo.